All right, AMG Hobby Talk, episode number 26. We have a full house today. We have found Bonus Blair. Blair, how are you?
I'm very good.
So you finally were able to come back from the Tibetan monastery. You have
Yeah.
achieved your Zen. Now,
Yeah,
now
I
you are
just-
prepared and ready.
Yeah, I just need a little time away.
I see. I see. So next we got Sherry. Sherry, how are you?
I'm wonderful. Excited for Tuesday. It's going to be a great day.
Nice, nice. Steve, collector of scalps, collector of the people. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Not as excited as Sherry for Tuesday, but it's
Sherry's
Tuesday.
awesome.
How exciting can it be?
Well, actually, let me ask you collectively a question because we were talking about a couple. We're going to touch on a couple of things. We got National Hockey Card Day. We'll touch on that. We have the trade night and card show. So I'm going to give everybody a little heads up here. We're going to talk about a couple of things in the store. There's some nice items that came in the shop. So if you want to see some of your Connor Bedard's, we're going to be able to show you a couple of those and some other stuff. There's a little bit of a mix of different things, which is always fun when there's a nice twist of different things. Well, let me ask you, just out of curiosity, we touched on it briefly just before we started recording. So anybody's experiences, any interesting experiences with the whole Eclipse thing?
Not interesting, but I did make what I call the supersonic solar eclipse viewer box.
Nice. Okay. Yes.
And
We have a
it,
picture of
to
that,
my
but that
surprise,
was-
worked very well.
Nice. Nice. So did Steve or Blair, did either one of you even like catch, even on the TV or anything, did any of you catch any glimpses of any of that stuff?
Blair took a week off of work to prepare for it, so I'm assuming
Thank God,
Yeah,
he was able to see it.
it
I
was
saw
great.
it for 8 seconds, and I was good.
I didn't have time to make a box like Sherry, but which actually we should have put a picture up because it was quite great. But yeah, I did. Yeah, I left work early and went home and yeah, I got to see if my daughter got free glasses from school. So that was
nice.
the only reason I could look at it.
Nice, nice. So I'll quickly share a story about this. So basically, there's a couple of days a week. Believe it or not, this is not my day job. I know this is hard to believe, but a couple of days a week, I actually go down to the office. So what happens is I decided I usually commute on a Monday. So to be honest, I completely forget about these things because unless I see it somewhere or whatever, but then obviously I see it on the monitor after, and then it occurs to me. So I go to the office, and I don't know if it was the Eclipse or something else, but I got to be honest with you. The thing is, nowadays, a lot of these offices, there are a lot of work from home stuff. So you do most of the week working from home, which is fine. And anybody can come in whatever day or days that they feel they need to at appropriate. Monday is usually one of my days that I like, and it's a little quieter on Monday. Monday wasn't quiet. Monday was a ghost town. There was a tumbleweed that I think rolled through. It's like, and I was literally sitting there like, and I came in and I was like, I know it's quiet on Monday, but I've got this entire section of the building to myself, like the whole thing all the way. Now it's fine with me because to be honest, I put my headphones in and listen, but so this is how this plays into the Eclipse. So it's dead quiet all the whole time. And then at one point I look out the window and it's like dark, like completely dark in the afternoon. I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, that thing. Now we had an overcast. So I think where we were in downtown Toronto, like you actually couldn't see. So basically it was just really dark.
Yeah.
and I was sitting there like, well, this is underwhelming. Back to what I was doing. So I just went back to sipping my coffee and then doing my thing on the computer. The good news is because it was so quiet, I was able to get caught up on all the stuff that I needed to do, which actually was pretty great. But I was sitting there like, man, really? Like, did you all like stay home to like watch the? I know it's quiet, but geez, okay. I could have counted on one hand the number of people on the one side of the building that were there, and in my section it was like completely tumbleweed just rolled through occasionally once every half hour or so, and that was about all that was going on. Very strange. Very strange.
Brad and Steve, they had called me like right at the peak time, and we weren't in totality here. It was like 94%, I think. But they had called me and they're like, "When's it supposed to happen?" I was like, "Right now. It's happening now."
Right. Nice. But that's what happens when you lose track of it. But it is a little surreal, though. It was very post-apocalyptic, walking into it and seeing like. Now, once I think is the rest of the day, I did see the odd person here and there, like occasionally pass view, and I was just sitting there like. Okay, I guess y'all stayed home for that. Yeah. We had it on the monitor and everything so they could play it, but I was just sitting there like, whatever. I'm going to go downstairs and get my coffee. But downtown Toronto, when you're in an office building on a Monday and it's like dead empty, it's a little weird.
Yeah.
Gotta be honest, a little weird. Very interesting. So that was my Eclipse experience. A little bit different than most.
My daughter was more excited than I was. But,
She probably should be.
yeah.
Grow up there.
I think it's interesting, but at the same time, it's like it's the sun. It's an eclipse. Now, Topps did commemorate the occasion. If somebody is really excited about it, Topps actually commemorated the occasion and made some cards for it. So you can get your eclipse cards. So exciting.
Those will be hot.
Yeah, and I think there's a version of it. From what I understand, I think there's a version of it that is like an insert that's a little bit rarer. That's glow in the dark.
Oh,
Like, oh, look at you! Look what you! I see what you.
Oh, there were stamps too. I was at the post office doing mail the other day, and a lady was in front of me, and she was asking about the Eclipse stamps, and they said they only got 25. Like it's limited edition. I was like, well, sign me up.
Nice. There you go. Perfect. I just figured I would talk about it. I just wanted to share that story about like the ghost town office, and I was sitting there like, well, I have never experienced it before. I've worked downtown for years, years working in different buildings down there, but I have never experienced like on purpose on a regular Monday. Otherwise, like commuting down, there were people, but in the building, nothing doing, man, nothing doing. At least not at my floor. All right, so let's share a couple of images here, and we'll get into it. Okay. So first one, like I said, is National Hockey Card Day. We're talking about that. So that's on the Saturday. And then obviously you can see a little bit ahead there. We're going to talk about the Trade Night and Card Show. So first, National Hockey Card Day. They do have that specific set. There is a Connor Bedard card in it. So it's kind of a special thing that's included in it. And obviously you can see a little bit of a hint of what kind of is enclosed in that. You do have some legends as well. Traditionally, there are some cards related to that. Anything you can add, Sherry or Steve or Blair, pertaining to this National Hockey Card Day package?
Nothing too much other than, hopefully the cards will be here for Saturday. So we'll definitely post something if, once we get them and that they'll be available.
They should be.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Now, I know of it because obviously they've had it for several years now. To be honest, I usually only participate in it in the secondary market. Like if there's a Medano, I'll usually go and pick that up. But so is it like a pack? Is it a giveaway? Like what is the specific usual process for the pack or the item or whatever?
Yeah, it's a giveaway. So, customers come in. Some places will do it with the purchase. We're more likely, if you make the effort to come in and visit us, then you're probably going to leave with a pack. And obviously some people take this serious as well and try to scoop up as many as they can. So for the first little while, let's make sure we share these with everyone and, don't leave with 100 packs at once when I'm not looking.
All right. Sounds fair. Now I did mention, as I said a moment ago, that there is a Connor Bedard in it. So over under, how many Connor Bedards are we getting submitted in for grading?
That'll be interesting.
I'm just saying, like, look, anytime there's an angle, I have to pose the question because if we have a Connor Bedard card here, which we do, and you've got a PSA submission right there, somebody goes and pulls a Bedard, you could just waltz it right over. And they're going to print a fair number of them. Let's be fair about this, obviously, given the nature of the promotional giveaway. But how many people are going to take the extra step to grade it? That's the question that I would kind of pose. And then that's going to potentially – I wait when it goes on eBay is basically what I'm getting at. I'm going to be very curious about that one.
I know in the past they've issued like some autographs in these packs. So, not sure if there's a Bedard, but if there is, look out. It will be the craze will be on for these as well.
Yeah. Basically, that's the reason kind of I posed the question is that everything Bedard right now has gotten a lot of that. I don't know if any of you heard. I've mentioned in some of the other venues on my YouTube channel on that piece of it. They had the Upper Deck employee kind of giveaway cards because they had that Connor Bedard autograph that was the employee kind of exclusive card, and some of them have made it onto eBay, and they've been selling those. So for the person who has everything else, it's a little bit of a unique card for them. And those kind of UD employee cards definitely sell, especially since it is an autograph. So it's one of those things. So again, anything Bedard right now, it finds its way onto a marketplace somewhere.
Yeah.
Non-Bedard, I like how they threw in Phil Esposito there as a hero. They usually throw in a few hockey heroes in there too.
Oh yeah, I think if you're just collecting, I think it's that's why I say like right now the focus will be on like the Bedard and some of the young guys and everything. But for those ones, like if you're just a fan, like I've gotten National Hockey Card Day cards from Medano for years. They've produced them in different years where he's included in that rotation. They're nice, cheap cards to pick up, and they're nice to throw like into a folder or something. If you just want something a little different, but go chase after them if you want to on the secondary market. So now we've got a trade night and card show. This was a situation where it is midweek. We've talked about it before, but part of the reason for that is because we do have the Spring Expo coming up. We will touch on that briefly in this episode, but then also we'll talk about it more next week, especially as we're going to be in the lead up to it. So it's going to be Friday, April the 12th, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Trade night in the store. You can check out, hang out with Bonus Blair, hang out with the folks in the crew, and Blair will probably take all the selfies with you. Now that he's rested himself, now he will be ready for all the selfies and the autograph requests.
Just to touch right quick, I will be posting it, but we did just confirm the May and June dates for the show too. So the May show will be May 25th and the June show will be June 29th.
Perfect. Perfect. And then on the Saturday, you've got the card show for this one. Like I said, back to back, middle of the month here to accommodate the calendar. It's going to be at the Old Sears Outlet, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So just be aware, middle of the month, it's coming up here this weekend because then the Spring Expo is going to happen. So I'll finish showing a couple more things here, and then we'll briefly touch on the Spring Expo, and then we'll get into a couple of other things here. So this is one of the ones that you wanted to make sure we mentioned. The Attic has 50% off all items.
Mm-hmm. Great buys.
Yeah, and we've got a lead on a couple sizable collections. So what we're trying to do is, empty the attic out to make room for more stuff. It's been a good buying month so far, and we're kind of backed up just with Toronto and everything coming around the corner. So it might take us 2 or 3 weeks to sort through everything and reload. But that's part of the reason we're going to move this stuff at a good price because we'll need the space to fill it back up again.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. And if that doesn't sell you, you can see in the very top corner, it's crap and stuff.
Absolutely.
So if that 50% off hasn't sold you, I hope that the extra signage there has sold you. It's important.
Although I did notice I forgot to put the word off on the sign. It just says the attic, 50%.
Hey, maybe we can sell the attic. And
we gave 50% effort on this.
Yeah.
You're offering 50% ownership in the attic.
Yeah.
Like you can just buy 50% of the attic. It's open to interpretation. I think at that point you should just be like open to interpretation to different terms. So how do you want to interpret 50%? What does that mean to you? Is the question that I have. All right, so we got a couple of images here. So we've got another images from the attic from a different angle, so you can kind of see into it a little bit. You can see there is a variety of different things between what's going on the shelves in the background there. A lot of different stuff. And then here's another perspective again, just to give you a little bit more of a sense of it. So just a couple of images on the attic. So it is 50% off all items. So there you go. Yeah. Perfect. Now, like I said, I'll touch on really briefly, and we'll be more thorough in next week's episode. The Spring Expo is coming up. So for those folks in the Toronto area, it is April 25th to 28th. It is not actually in Toronto. It's in Mississauga. Being someone who has basically lived their entire life in Mississauga, I enjoy pointing out the distinction just to annoy people. But they do like to call it Toronto, even though it's out near Pearson in that area. But if you are visiting, then it is right near the airport. And there's a lot of hotels nearby. So now, mind you, if you're trying to get the hotel now, it might get a little bit expensive. So you probably want to do that a little sooner. I noticed the prices got hiked up a little bit, but nonetheless, it should be quite a good show. It is the quieter of the two shows, but as I said, we'll talk about it a little bit more extensively next week. But that doesn't mean it's quiet, because I can tell you just from the autograph guest list, it is extensive. They went heavy into celebrities and kind of, actors in a lot of those different categories. William Shatner. And then you've also got some very interesting characters. They got Dennis Rodman. So you've got a lot of those interesting kind of combinations and stacks and stacks and stacks of hockey players. Whole stack. Some Blue Jays, current and former, or recently former. And you've got that element of it. So it is going to be, that autograph pavilion, I think, is going to be very aggressive. And also, we will remind that PSA Canada will be taking submissions. Not on-site grading for this one, submissions. But nonetheless, traditional, and a lot of folks will be able to drop off a lot of stuff and get their stuff sent in for grading.
And AMG will be buying.
We are going to buy. I actually think this might be, one of the busier spring shows just
Yeah,
because
I agree.
of, some guy named Bedard.
Mhm.
People will be, shopping his cards around. It'll be interesting to see what's dropped at the table. It'll probably be a relentless assault of Bedard items. So honestly, I'm looking for other things.
Mhm.
I'll take a stab at a few Bedards, but until the market on that kind of settles down, I'll tend to stay away, especially, not just Bedard, but, low number cards, stuff like that. It's just so hard to make a decision at a busy show like that on, a card numbered out of 10. You have to be careful on items like that. So we're open to buy lots of cards and just, stuff, whether it's for the attic or for the showcase, but probably avoid a lot of the high dollar cards because everything's a little out of control right now because of that particular individual.
Mhm. So kind of touching on that though, and I'll mention it now because that'll give us some stuff specifically to talk about for next week's episode. So as pertains to the Spring Expo, one thing. So first thing that I would recommend, and this is mostly for the team, is pens and cutting implements. You might want to strap them to your body. Blair, you might want to just tape it to Blair is basically what I'm saying. Just duct tape it to Blair so that he physically has it on it. Where's the pen?
Yeah.
Where's the cutting implement?
One behind each ear.
Exactly. Whatever you need to do to make sure, because I know in the past that has been, where is the pen? Where's the knife? So
This will
these are
actually be, I will be at the AMG booth this year as well. I am no longer required at the PSA booth. Brad has done a fantastic job growing that team and getting that to the show. So I am back to the AMG booth, the guys, and I'm very excited.
So what you're saying is they will have both pens and cutting implements. They will
They will
actually
have
be there.
everything they need.
Have it all.
Amazing. So that was the first thing I wanted to remind because I've been there during the supply shortages. There have been supply shortages in the past. Second thing though, and something that I'll mention now, and you guys can think about it, and we'll discuss it further next one. And Steve and Blair and everybody else, what I'll say is we can talk about next week a little bit of, I won't say etiquette because that's not the right word, but we can say what are things people can do that will streamline the process and make it easier if they want to bring something potentially that you want to look at. What can they do already be ready with so that it just makes it a little bit easier to basically get things going, and maybe some tips for folks that are there, because obviously some folks are new to it, other folks is kind of old hat, but it doesn't mean you can't get a little brush up on the basics. What are little things that you can do that'll help you and make your experience a little bit easier? Prepare your stuff, maybe have an idea of what some of these things go for, kind of things like that. And then the other thing we'll talk about and speculate a little bit about, kind of to what Steve alluded to, is that I expect that Upper Deck will be broken very heavily in that show. And one thing that I'll kind of follow up with Brad is I want to get like a ballpark figure. I'm curious how many Bedards walk in to that booth as people pull them or as they bring them to get them graded, because I expect we'll get a nice little boost in some of those Bedard numbers as those submissions start entering through the system and then come back later.
Definitely.
Yeah, so it's going to be those elements of it. So those are the kind of things that I think we'll touch on next time, because from a booth standpoint, etiquette, and also what are things that are helpful, things that'll make sure that it makes the process smoother for the person that is seeing you, so that they're already at least partially ready, and then when they talk to you, you're already off to a running start. You don't have to start from scratch. Perfect. Okay, so let's take a look at some stuff that came in the shop here a little bit. First one is a personal favorite of mine, and I'll kind of give a little background on why it is, but let me start off by showing it. So let's take a look. No. This one is more for different entertainment purposes. But let me show you what I'm talking about. So we got Leaf Exotic Mythical. So here we got a Kirk Muller, and in the background there we've got a very charming leprechaun. So this little subset is different mythical creatures. So I can tell you that I've seen a Kraken. I've seen like the Yeti. I think I've seen one or two other like versions of it, but the leprechaun is kind of an infamous one. And this is where I've had a little bit of fun because it's very much it's a controversial take on this one, because it's one of those things where it's different, but it's also like, well, just look at the leprechaun. Like the image kind of speaks for itself. This is very much, you either like it or you don't.
Carlos?
I guess it's really a matter of interpretation.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
No.
It's a 101 as well. So, I love his pants.
Nice thought. Or is it
It's
pants?
it is a fashion statement, yes. Now, I'll be honest, the Kraken one cracked me up. Like, I absolutely love the fact that there's a Kraken one. That would make me very happy. Like I said, it either works for you or it doesn't. And to Steve's point, they are one of ones, and probably
Right.
deservedly so. I think more than one might be too much. I think one's enough. So it also does have like a shimmer pattern. So you've got that going for it. But yeah, it's either going to work for you or it's not. There's no in between on this one. Okay. So this one was one of the ones, Blair. I think you shared this one, and this is the SP game used. It looks like we got rounded corners, so I'm guessing this is like almost like a little plexiglass material. Like, what are we talking about on this one?
Sorry, this was a quick edition. One of our good customers came in yesterday and kind of didn't leave very long. I thought she was gone, and then back in 5 minutes or something. So she had broke one over in our little seating area in the mall there. So yeah, it appears to be. I thought it was like just an acetate or a clear cut first, but looking at it, it's thicker. So it is like a piece of plexiglass. So I think they call it the crystals, and it was numbered out of 25. Rookie crystal. Yeah, variation.
Perfect.
Yep.
Next one here, I believe, Steve, if memory serves me, I think you mentioned that this one has made it onto the eBay account. I believe this one was pulled.
Yeah, so we've got 3 or 4 Bedards that are on our eBay site. They'll all end Thursday night. So a customer of ours pulled this the other day, and you're able to negotiate a deal, and we're selling this this card for him. So check it out, and they're bringing a pretty solid penny right now. So nice clear autograph, and actually the card is quite strong. A lot of times these come out of the pack with ding corners and stuff. This one was pretty solid.
That's right. So you got the draft day marks is what it is, and that is numbered 35. It is an autograph on a little piece of fabric. A lot of these are basically they just got a jersey and had them kind of sign it. You'll see on the back. The back is always what it'll be telling. I don't think any of these are game used. I believe they basically get manufactured patches basically, but then they get the player to autograph it in cases like this. So you're still getting a Connor Bedard autograph however you slice it, and if you like the design, I think it's kind of an interesting way to go about it. Next one here, we got a little baseball. This is I believe this is the red refractor out of 5. Memory serves me. So we got
another good customer. He called me on the phone screaming. He gets very excited when he opens packs. It's very enjoyable, and a lot of times his reaction's the same way to pulling a $2 card as opposed to pulling an expensive card. So he actually pulled a nice card, and again we're consigning it for him. And that one too is also on eBay.
There you go. So this is, as I said, it was a red refractor out of 5, and this one is based on the 86 Topps design because Topps does their 35th anniversary one the last several years. And I have to tell you that as time has gone on, you slowly creep further and further and further into the present. Look, I'm not liking the trend that's going because we're getting dangerously close to the time that I started collecting. We are getting dangerously close. I'm not a fan, Sherry. This has to be stopped. It's like that's enough. We've gone far enough on this, but nonetheless, it is a very nice one. And also the Yankees are right now off to a bit of a hard start because a lot of folks are looking at that lineup. That lineup's very potent, especially with adding Juan Soto and a lot of these guys. And Judge has already had a record 62 home run season. Very popular with the Yankees. I think he is considered their captain now. So very much a popular player in that side of it. So and on card autograph as well. So that's kind of a nice little bonus. So kind of continuing the Bedard train here. This one's rookie sweaters. So we do have a jersey piece from SP Game Used Edition. We talked about all the different variations of it. We mentioned there are a lot of Bedards in it. So this is another one of those that you can check out. Then we got the authentic rookies here, number 249. So this one is a jersey autograph. It is a sticker auto, but you do have, obviously, right now, like I said, anything Bedard is obviously drawing a lot of attention. Number 249, jersey autograph. Nice piece as well. Then we move on to a little bit of football. We got a Lamar Jackson from 2018 Limited. This one is in a Beckett 8.5 with a 10 autograph. And you do have a little nice looking patch piece. They are basically manufactured patches on these for 2018, but Lamar Jackson is a 2-time MVP.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We've also discovered Lamar Jackson's a very difficult autograph to find, especially on card. So we actually found this for a customer. He wanted it for a birthday present for his father. So we kind of searched far and wide, and it took us a while. And this card actually looks better in person than the scan shows. But again, anytime we can help a customer, find something, we'll do it. But yeah, hard to find a Lamar Jackson on card auto.
I think part of that really became because Lamar was drafted at the end of the first round, so people weren't sure what to make of him. It created a value at the time, because I remember the 2018 quarterback class. You had 5 quarterbacks in the first round, and he was the last of the quarterbacks in the first round chosen. People had no idea, but he is actually a 2-time NFL MVP, which is kind of funny if you really think about it. It's like he kind of snuck in late. The Ravens kind of picked him up basically on a kind of a bargain as far as the draft positioning was, and here we are. Now, if it means postseason success in the long run, that is yet to be determined. But nonetheless, in the regular season, he has had some great performances. Hard to argue with that piece of it. So he's still, I would say, on paper, the most successful so far of that 2018 rookie class. So nice little pickup. Then this one here, I like these. I know that some of the veteran players have these as well. So it's actually pretty cool looking cards. SP Game uses this in the deep cuts. I think, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that literally it is die cut with that whole section in the middle there.
Yeah, you can see right through the card, or at least on the right side. On the left, it is kind of the black color, but the three lines are on the right. You can see right through them, and you can also see down at the bottom. There's a perfect spot where an autograph might go. I believe you can get this card in autograph form as well. So to me, that would be a really cool card. I like the looks of this card, especially if you could find one autographed.
Very nice, very nice. This version of it is numbered to 250, and the other part of it is that all that section in gold is kind of in a rainbow foil. So it is kind of a striking card in person if you see one of these. And there's a bunch of folks in this checklist you can check out, including veteran players as well. Because I've actually had a chance. I haven't picked one up yet, but I've eyed that there's a Medano in it, and there's other veteran players on that checklist. So you got new and old, past and present. So you got a little bit of both those things going on. One of these here is the net cord. So this one's an Alex Ovechkin net cord piece. We talked about all the different types of memorabilia that they included in SP Games Edition. This one's from the All-Star Skills Competition, numbered to 35, and they include the date and timing of it and some kind of thing that happened, in this case for Ovechkin. Here is 2022 Bowman University. So this is a Will Levis autograph. So the Croman prospect lava refractor. Want to be a little extra fancy there with the lava. Not a great autograph, I got to be honest. Like, there's this much sticker, and then you're signing right at the bottom of it, and I don't know what the hell that's supposed to be, but it's a scribble of some kind.
That's Tennessee's future right there.
Yeah, there you go. Now, we're contractually obligated to go back to Bedard now. So this one is the clear-cut autograph. So this one is a tougher variant. One of the ones that you want to keep an eye out on. So in this case, it is the clear cut in a Gem Mint PSA 10. Do you happen to know the pop count on this one, Steve?
Not yet, but this one actually came from my the gentleman that provides me with scallops when we do transactions. So I had to include his card. So this is actually his card. So
okay.
I just thought I would show it that it came back as a 10, and he was quite thrilled. I might try to convince him that I'm the reason it was a 10. So maybe he'll drop off more scallops. But anyway, it's I'm happy for him that he pulled this card.
Big card.
Angling for the scallops. Shameless. Absolutely shameless. The population on this one is 36. So this is a pop 36. So as I kind of mentioned in kind of a precursor to it, the clear cut here obviously is a tougher piece. And then also I can tell you that I was checking on it last night. And the Outburst Silver, I think, is a pop 16 for PSA 10. So still been very tough to come by. So just some stuff to keep an eye out on. Obviously, the regular Young Gun is already now over 1,000. So that pop count is going up and up and up. But the clear cut and the Outburst Silver and stuff like that, even though they're not numbered, they've actually still been relatively tough to get in 10s. So bear that in mind if you're out there and looking for your Bedard hunt. Those ones are nice pieces, especially still. So 22 by Bowman University again. So this is Jordan Travis, and this is a chrome orange shimmer refractor. They got a lot of different variants, and they've got the first Bowman designation on this one in a PSA 10.
Nice.
All right, last and certainly not least, we got ourselves, a legend hockey player here. This is Leaf Metal, and this is the Arctic Ink of Luc Robitaille. And this one here, I don't know if this is a 1 of 1 or if it's they're all numbered, I think, but is this a 1 of 1?
This is a 1 of 1 as well.
Yeah, nice.
Yes. So pattern wise, if folks that are checking out, that is kind of the super refractor with the little swirls in there. So that's kind of the effect they went with that one. And it is leaf, so it is unlicensed, but they did cleverly use the angle where they've got kind of Robitaille kind of facing backwards where you can see the jersey and everything. You can see his face, but obviously the logo is facing in the opposite direction of the image. So they got a little cute with the photo selection on that one to overcome the licensing issue of it being unlicensed. So it is a nice way of getting around it if they are able to. This one's actually not too bad. I've seen some ones that are a little bit more egregious where they have to airbrush it out completely. This photo, though, allows you to kind of get away with it a little bit without putting the logos on there.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right. So thank you to the team for sharing the different images. We had a nice little mix of all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got that covered here. As I said, we're going to be in the next couple of upcoming episodes. Next one especially, we're going to be talking about the Spring Expo and also kind of what the plans are and everything. Now that Sherry is there, I can only expect that the organization is increased exponentially. It'll be very exciting. Very exciting.
I agree.
Now like I said, we'll be more detailed next week. But so here's my question for you. Obviously, buying is going to be a big part of what you're doing. You traditionally have brought some boxes. Is the plan to do a little bit of mix and match? Or are there certain things that you think you're going to lean more towards? Any thoughts already on kind of what the plan will be?
I think we're not taking as much stuff. I think our focus this time is going to be on buying. We're in a pretty good place as far as like last time we took some wax that we were having trouble moving regionally, but right now I think we're in a pretty good place with supplies and stuff. So we're going to look to add to inventory on this trip. And again, we'll be specific, yet we want to buy everything, if that makes sense.
Perfect. All right. Sounds good. So like I said, in the next episode, we will talk about that in a little bit more depth. And fair warning, I will be asking you if you're going to be looking for anything for yourselves. So I want you to think about, we will reveal the answers on the next episode. Blair tells us that he's going to be looking for all the Pokemon. What's that?
Can I answer that question now?
Well, for Steve, yes. For you, you can. You may answer the question now. Yeah, we kind of figured that. And Blair, don't reveal which Pokemon you're chasing at the show. We're going to reveal that next week. I need you to save it for next week.
That's funny. Somebody asked me yesterday. I was in this, and they were saying, I was just talking about all the Pokemon. You know, we have quite a great selection now, graded and singles, and I guess I was a little excited about all the stuff. And they said, "What are you collecting?" I was like, "I don't own one Pokemon card." So,
Blair, let me. Next week, I will sell you on the good word of the Cheestrigomon. Get on the bandwagon with me, Blair. Join the bandwagon while there's still time. There's still room on the bandwagon for you. I'm driving the bus.
That's probably the one.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it happening.
Sherry, I am driving that bandwagon myself. I'm leading the procession down. I've been on this from day one.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll talk about that a little bit more next week. So perfect. So with that said, I want to thank the team and everything that we were able to showcase. As I said, I'll remind you one more time at the very end here. And one last thing, actually, before we sign off, I want to make sure I actually cover this. Usually I include a little bit earlier. So first, I got the scrolling ticker there with the different contact points. It's always in the description as well. This is important. It's always in the description for you if you're curious and you want to see. But I do want to make sure, and I'm going to do it really quick here at the very end because I want to let these guys be able to open up the shop. But I do want to acknowledge some of the comments from the last episode because usually we get into that a little earlier, but I'm going to grab it right now. So we did get a couple of comments last episode. I will go through them quickly. But as I said, if there's more urgent and pressing matters, use the contact points here because that is usually the fastest way to get a response. Otherwise, you can leave a comment because we do appreciate the engagement. Okay, so real quick, I'll go through a couple of comments from last episode. First one was Sanderson Door. So Steve, that's Eric. So whenever we're mentioning graphics, that's who it is. He says, the shelving looks really familiar. That's coming. Thank you, Eric. All right, next one here. Gotham Collections. Great video as always. Is it just me or there's a lot of cats trading in their cards to get Bedard boxes? ? Just seems like every time I walk in the shop, I leave with some really nice non-Bedard cards that I was not expecting. It's been the best year ever for me getting Sens cards from the shop at amazing prices, I assume because of the Bedard mania and the Sens being awful this year in the wins department. Also, I wish Carlos did box break videos. I do box break videos on a separate channel, but only once in a blue moon, and it's generally only the wrestling. That's basically what I do. The hockey cards are a little too expensive for me, to be honest. And since I kind of collect a retired player, it makes more sense for me to chase singles. That's usually just, it's easier. It makes a lot more sense for me personally. So here, Kyle Sears is one. I think the card show montage, similar to the trade night montage videos, would be great advertising for card show, which I actually think is a really good idea. That's why I wanted to make sure I at least read that comment. It's not a bad idea having a montage of some kind. So maybe something to think about. Also might bring a few folks in. Andrew here says, I love the 50s baseball collection. What an awesome story. So I appreciated that from that episode. Blaine Hamilton here. The Brooklyn collection is amazing. How's the allotment on Bowman baseball this year? Thoughts on Pete Rose Retrofractor, the first time in a licensed MLB product since its suspension in 1989. So any comment on the Bowman baseball? Is there any allotment that you're expecting?
We don't have the numbers yet. So as soon as we're aware, we'll kind of make that known. Perfect. Usually not a lot, though.
Yeah.
In the baseball, I find the allotment isn't too crazy. So I do recommend for any products forthcoming, reach out to the store as soon as it looks like the release date is upcoming, because that's your best way of at least getting an understanding of what's coming up, so that you don't have bad expectations for allotments, because it depends on the product. CC here comments. So last comment here from the last video. Amazing items picked up the Brooklyn Dodger fan, but the stories behind the items are way better. Could not agree more. I want to thank everybody for their comment. That was a fair number of comments there at the end. So I want to thank everybody for the engagement. We do appreciate you. I will make sure I press heart on all of these comments so that you're all acknowledged. But I wanted to make sure I read them all. Perfect. Cool. So that's it for this one. I want to thank the team. As I said, we will be back for more episodes. Next episode, as I said, will be our Spring Expo preparation episode. We'll talk about a couple of things related to that and get you all ready and prepared to enjoy the Spring Expo coming up. So for myself and the team, we want to thank you for checking this one out. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, because I'm seeing that subscriber count creep up and I'm appreciating it. But let's get to 300 now. Now we're starting to move towards it. We're getting greedy. Bonus Blair wants 300 subs. Bonus Blair wants 300 subs.
Yeah.
And then like the video as well. We appreciate the engagement. So from Steve, collector of the scallops, collector of the people, angling for more scallops as always. Bonus Blair making his return from the Tibetan monastery, and Sherry making sure all this stays in order. We thank you, and we will catch you in the next episode.